I usually get to work very early before we open to the public. And I start from the top floor and I walk down to check everything, to make sure the temperature is okay, to make sure there is no dust, to make sure things are okay. So when people come, you see people standing in the gallery just focusing on one piece. One piece that most people usually go for is Starry Night. Anytime you go to that gallery, it's gallery number 1 on the 5th floor, you see it's surrounded by people. People want to take pictures next to it and all those things. Personally, I can tell you that when you walk through the gallery, it's therapeutic. It's a therapy. And I'll tell you why. When I walk around, when I go to the gallery number 9 on the 5th floor, that's where we have the Monet water lily. And it goes from one end to the other. And sometimes we have benches in front of, I'll just sit down and just look. And I look from one end to the middle to the other end. I feel relieved. And then not only that, I'm able to connect the images that I observe, because as you go around from one section of the Monet water lily to the other, you kind of imagine things. And I remember sometimes I would go back to when I was a little kid with my grandfather. He would take us to the woods, and you see different kind of leaves, you see the landscape, and you see different color depending on the day of the time of the day. You see all those images. So I was able to connect it. I said, you know what? I remember my grandpa as a little kid, going with him. I could picture this image that I'm seeing now to that time, which is amazing. It's all these great collections, all this artwork that we have in the gallery. That's what makes life so... can you imagine when you walk through the gallery, you go from one floor to the other, you're hearing different languages that you don't even understand, but it makes you feel good, So even though you don't understand what they're saying, you just imagine that people are communicating with each other. And one thing that unifies all of us is the fact that when you see people looking at the artwork or the sculpture in the gallery, you see how happy they are. And that's what makes us connect with each other. Happiness it doesn't discriminate. Happiness, you see it on people's face when they're happy or enjoying what they are looking at. And that's what unifies all of us. It's not the language. It's the feedback that we get by looking at a piece of work on the wall or a sculpture. Look at it when we were talking about the goats. You were laughing. And I'm sure some people may walk in, we don't speak the same language, they may see the goat, they may be laughing, but they are laughing at the same thing that we are laughing about, even though we couldn't talk to each other in the same language, which is very powerful.